There's a lot of great movies about sports and a lot of great movies about showbiz, and you'd think professional wrestling would therefore be an ideal setting for a film since it combines the most cinematic aspects of both. And yet you can probably count the number of actually great pro wrestling movies on one hand. And if you're going to be a stick in the mud and tell me that I can't count any of the El Santo movies as the good ones, it might be even less than that. Though then of course you're going to have to explain what your problem is with El Santo to like the entire nation of Mexico. So the main issue is that pro wrestling even today is still kind of a proudly seedy, closed-off world with its own weird rules and codes, and that even some of its biggest fans willingly let it exist on several different levels of reality. And even the most quote-unquote respectable version in the WWE is still a tight-knit, family-run corporation that rigidly controls its public image. It's hard to tell either true stories or fictional stories with real stakes in a world that's all about romanticized pantomime of ironic grifting. Fighting with My Family, though, is making a game effort of it. An officially WWE-sanctioned biography of Soraya Jade Bevis, known to fans as Paige, it's your basic working-class underdog sports story goosed up by the novelty of pro wrestling's general absurdity and Paige herself, and her rough-around-the-edges Norwich, England family, also all amateur league wrestlers, being compelling and different in their own right. You've heard the story before, and indeed parts of Paige's story that actually were less similar to the standard sports underdog narrative have been streamlined to fit it, but you haven't seen it with this specific sort of offbeat female lead in this specific weird spectacle of a sport. Portrayed here by English actress Florence Pugh, Paige is the youngest of a hardscrabble family of lower-rung toughs running a dingy local wrestling promotion and gym in the UK, and alongside her brother dreaming of a shot at the WWE's NXT minor league development program. But when they head to try out, Paige is the only one of their class the company wants to take back to the US, even though Zach had always been the family's presumed golden boy and has a son on the way. So Paige heads off to America to deal with suspicious fellow trainees, many of whom are models without wrestling backgrounds with whom she gets off on the wrong foot and vice versa, while the family tries to help Zach cope with a dream deferred back home. No prizes for guessing that things work out a bit more hopefully and cleanly than they did in reality, likely. Or that the wrestling side of things is made to seem more like a conventional sport than a bizarrely sadistic, if highly entertaining drama troupe run by a deteriorating maniac. For one thing, the NXT side of the company in the film comes off more like a few months of boot camp than an entire separate promotion that Paige dominated for 2 whole years. But, you know, it's a movie, and it's a sweet, charming one. The business with the scrappy friends and family feels real, and I appreciated the unexpected nuance and the subplot about Paige's evolving relationships with the other women in NXT. It's a hard movie to dislike, and I suspect it'll find more than a few fans who never thought they'd like a wrestling movie, mostly because it's more about the training and behind-the-scenes business than the in-ring action. See, one of the problems with making films about this sport has always been trying to sell the tension and drama, while acknowledging that the matches are predetermined fixed outcomes, and the whole point is that the athletes are executing moves that only look like they'd kill each other if they did them for real. So Fighting with My Family doesn't really come up with a solution to that, instead building at least one of its 2 big dramatic match scenes around an uh-oh, the opponent is fighting for real gag, and playing around with a time dilation and cross-cutting editing in the second match to sort of merge the staged drama of the fixed ending with the real tension of Paige overcoming her sense of stage fright, which works about as well as it needs to. Again, it's a film aimed more at a general audience than hardcore wrestling fans, condensing Paige's story and WWE ascent and making room for a featured cameo by The Rock, who executive produced the film and spearheaded production after seeing a documentary about the Knight family on Channel 4 BBC, and a surprisingly warm, low-key turn by Vince Vaughn as a coach and trainer. 3 stars, it's a really good time.